We're going to find our bodies in a comfortable seated pose. Any easy seat that feels good for you, may you find your position. I'm going to do a nice little yoga flow. So we are using our easy seat to help relax and wind down our mind and our bodies here today. Ensuring that our spinal cords are nice and elongated, meaning we are not sunken. Having that nice elongated spine gives us control of our bodies. As we relax our shoulders downward away from our ears, this allows us to relax and soothe the upper parts of our bodies. Tucking our tummy in at our navel if that feels good. Taking a nice, deep, intentional breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. Taking a moment to notice how the breath feels within the body as we breathe our palms at heart center, allowing the thumbs to come closer to the chest. Slightly gazing the eyes downward or closing your eyes if that feels good for you. 4 breaths of silence. Two more breaths. As we allow our fingertips to melt downward towards the earth, connecting our palms to our yoga mats. As we are using this time to tune in to our environment. Taking a moment to notice what's going on around us right here, right now, in our present moment, without judgment, simply being aware. And during our session here today, we may hear noises and sounds. We may become distracted. However, may we only allow in what is comforting and soothing for us in our practice here today. 4 breaths. Two breaths. As we allow our bodies to lean towards the right, our left arm flows up above our heads, breathing that arm to the right side. And you're going to feel this stretch here in the side body. Optioning to twist, slightly gazing up at the heavens, if that feels good for you. Noticing how when you twist upwards, that heart chakra slightly lifts up to the heavens. Keeping the eyes gazed down to closed. 3 breaths. Allowing that right shoulder to relax downward. 2 more breaths. Exhale into center, allowing the left palm to come downward towards the earth as our bodies lean towards the left. Right arm flows up above the head, feeling that stretch in that side body. Optioning to slightly gaze up at the heavens. Noticing that when we gaze up, our heart chakra lifts up, our heart chakra opens. Gazing the eyes down, 3 breaths. Two breaths. Exhale into center. We're going to breathe our palms up to our shoulders, connecting our fingertips to our shoulders, and we're going to rotate our shoulders forward. We are loosening and relaxing the upper parts of our bodies. A lot of times we have tension in our shoulders and in our necks. Simply being mindful to relax those shoulders down and doing shoulder rotations could help with that tense feeling. Going as fast or as slow as you choose. 3 more breaths. 2 breaths. We're going to find that pause, rotating in the opposite direction. Keeping that back nice and elongated. Tummies are tucked in at the navel. You may be feeling that burn. We're going to keep on moving. 2 more breaths. We're going to find that pause, breathing our palms out, our arms out towards the side. Our palms can be up or they can be down, whatever feels good for you. We are feeling that burn. We're going to keep on flowing, rotating those arms forward. We are working the upper parts of our bodies. We are building strength in our arms. Three more breaths. 2 breaths. We're going to find that pause and rotate those arms in the opposite direction. Going as fast or as slow, as big or as small as you choose. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Feeling the burn. Keep on flowing. We're going to find that pause, breathing our palms up above our head, seated salute, palms together, interlacing those fingers together with that pointer finger pointing up towards the heavens. We're going to breathe those shoulder blades together nice and tight and allow our arms to slightly flow to the back of the room. You'll feel your heart chakra slightly lift up. You'll feel your pelvic bone tilt forward. You'll feel this slight bend in your lower back. This is also relaxing and soothing our arms and our shoulders, the muscles we just worked. Keeping that heart chakra lifted and that chin up. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Exhaling back to center, breathing our palms at heart center, coming into that seated prayer, relaxing those shoulders downward away from our ears. Palms at heart center, breathe in deeply. Exhale through the mouth. 3 breaths of silence. Few breaths. Eyes are slightly gazed downward or closed. We're going to use this moment to hug ourselves, connecting our hands to our shoulder blades. Just giving ourselves a little love. Feeling that squeeze. We are further relaxing and soothing our shoulders, our arms. We are loving ourselves and hugging ourselves. Our backs are still straight. Tummies are tucked in at the navel. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Exhale, unhugging our arms, breathing our palms outward towards the side, downward towards the earth as we breathe them up, coming into that seated star. Palms are outward towards the side. That pelvic bone is tilted forward. Their heart chakra is lifted, chin is up. Breathe in. Nice deep breath. Exhale, twisting the body towards the right. Palms come downward towards the earth as we gaze over that right shoulder, spinal twist. Using this twist to soothe, relax, and decompress that spine. Eyes are gazed down or closed. 4 breaths. Allowing the body to relax and soothe. 3 more breaths. 2 breaths. Exhaling back to center, coming back into that star, taking a nice deep breath in. Exhale, twist the body towards the left, palms come down, gazing over that left shoulder, spinal twist, opposite side. Feeling that spine soothe and decompress with the eyes gazed down or closed. The mind and body is relaxed. 4 breaths. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. 'Exhaling back to center. We're going to flow our feet into a bound position, coming into a diamond or butterfly. The bottoms of our feet are connecting. This here is a hip opener. We're going to breathe our hands to our feet or our ankles, and we're going to simply just squeeze our feet, our toes, our ankles, wherever we feel we need to apply pressure. Again, our feet, if we're able to walk, carries us everywhere we go. So we're going to use this time to just squeeze our feet, squeeze our toes, any pressure points that we feel we need as we are keeping that back straight. Tummies are tucked in at the navel. Eyes are slightly gazed down and closed as we are using this time to go inward. Now we can option to slightly hinge at the hips, being mindful to keep that back straight as we hinge. Noticing how when we hinge at the hips, meaning we are leaning forward, you'll feel that hip stretch a little deeper in the inner thighs. So only hinging forward as much as your body comfortably allows. We can option to stop squeezing our toes, our feet. We can simply just hinge forward, feeling the stretch. With the eyes gazed down and closed, maybe take a nice breath. Exhale. As our shoulder blades melt forward closer to the earth, just feeling that body soothe downward. Shoulder blades comes closer to the earth. We can option to drop our head downward closer towards our feet, just allowing that head to drop. Noticing how when that head drops, you may feel a slight curve in your lumbar spine. You'll feel the hips going a little deeper in that flex. This is a hip opener pose. We're going to hang out here, relaxing and soothing. 4 breaths of silence. Two more breaths. Slowly exhaling up, using your hands to push your torso away from the earth. We're going to use our hands to breathe our legs together, straightening our legs parallel, coming into that staff pose. Legs are parallel, side by side. Our toes are pointing up towards the heavens, or maybe they're pointing downward towards the earth in that ballerina's flex. So point the toes up or point the toes downward. And we're going to slightly hinge at the hips. We are in our seated half forward fold, allowing our torso to come closer to our thighs. And you'll feel that stretch behind your legs and your hamstrings. With our heart chakra coming closer to the chest, to the thighs, you may also feel your heartbeat soothe a little more. We're going to keep those eyes gazed down and closed, allowing the shoulders to melt forward, allowing the head to relax downward towards your knees. We can option to come into a complete forward fold if that feels good by connecting our hands to our ankles or the bottoms of our feet. As we use this time to focus on self, 4 breaths of silence. Two more breaths. Exhaling up to that half forward fold. Flowing back into that staff pose, lifting our bodies up nice and elongated. Spinal cords are nice and long. Tummies are tucked in at the navel as we breathe our palms up in the air, feeling that stretch. Fingertips flows up towards the heavens, stretching as we interlace our fingers with that pointer finger pointing up in the air, allowing the arms to slightly flow to the back of the room. Their heart chakra lifts up, the pelvic bone tilts forward, shoulder blades are slightly squeezed together. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Exhaling back to center, breathing our palms at heart center, coming into that prayer, relaxing those shoulders down, away from the ears. We are gaze forward. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Allowing those shoulder blades to relax down, away from the ears. As we place our palms on our yoga mat next to our buttocks, we're going to slightly just use our hands to lift our buttocks off the earth just a little as we breathe our knees into our chest, hugging those knees into the chest. We're going to come slightly wide-legged. We're going to breathe our right hand to our right foot and our left hand to our left foot. Noticing how that feels as we play with our feet in our hands. We're just working on our hip flexors here, noticing how this feels in the backs of our legs. If all feels well, our legs are nice and loose. We're going to find our paws, and we're going to extend that left leg out to the side, feeling that stretch. Now, our leg can be in front of us or slightly out towards the side. We can also slightly bend that knee if needed. We keep our core muscles nice and tight. Our backs are nice and straight. Our heart chakra is lifted up and our chin is up. 3 breaths. This here is a boat pose variation. 2 more breaths. Exhaling that left leg back in. If all feels well, we're going to extend that right leg out to the side. It can be in front of us. It can be slightly to the side. We also can bend that knee if that feels best. We are feeling that stretch here in our inner thighs and behind our legs and the hamstrings. This here is a boat pose variation. This is a balancing pose. It's a lengthening pose. Our heart chakra is lifted. Our chin is up. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Exhale, breathing that right leg back in. As we extend that left leg out to the side, we're going to extend that right leg out to the side. Now we're in that full boat pose variation. We also call this bear pose. We can slightly bend our knees if needed. This is when a bear has the feet in their hands. Noticing how your core muscles are engaged. Your heart chakra is lifted. Your back muscles are nice and strong here. This is a balancing pose. We're going to keep that chin up. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Breathing our legs back in, hugging our knees into our chest. And we're going to come onto our backs in that recline position, hugging those knees into the chest. Knee to chest pose, reclined. We are flat on our backs, hugging those knees into the chest. Breathe in. Exhale. Extending those legs straight up in the air, legs on the wall pose. And we're going to point those toes up in that ballerina's flex. Just pointing those toes. With our shoulder blades connected to the yoga mat. Eyes are slightly gazed downward or closed. As we breathe in, exhale. Ensuring that our shoulder blades are completely relaxed, close to the earth, the yoga mat. As we become wide-legged, allowing our legs to just come apart. And we're going to feel this stretch here in our inner thighs. And we can option to breathe our legs closer towards our torso. We can connect our hands to our ankles or our feet. Noticing how this feels in your legs, in your lumbar spine. We are stretching. We are lengthening here. 3 more breaths. 2 breaths. Exhaling those legs in, back to legs on a wall or waterfall pose. As we breathe our knees into our chest, we're going to allow our knees to flow towards the left. Recline spinal twist. Feeling the spinal cord soothe, decompress. With that right arm coming out to the side. And we can option to gaze up at the heavens, or we can gaze over that right shoulder. Feeling that spinal twist, allowing the back legs to completely relax as close as you can to the yoga mat comfortably. Breathe in. Exhale. 4 breaths of silence. Two more breaths. Exhale into center, hugging the knees into the chest. Allowing the knees to flow towards the right. Recline spinal twist, opposite side. Feeling that spine soothe and twist. With the left arm out to the side, we can gaze up at the heavens, or we can gaze over your left shoulder. Our eyes are closed or gaze downward. Shoulder blades are connected as close as we can to the earth. Breathe in. Exhale. 4 breaths. Two breaths. Exhaling back to center. We're going to hug those knees into our chest. Keeping our knees up in the air, we're going to breathe our feet flat on the earth. We're going to work on a bridge pose. Feet are flat on the earth. Knees are in the air. Our palms are flat on the earth next to our buttocks. And we're going to use our feet and our palms to lift that gluteus maximus off the earth. This here is a pelvic tilt. That pelvic bone tilts forward off the earth. You'll also feel that gluteus maximus, your buttocks get nice and tight. So we're also rounding and lifting that buttocks as well. Now we can option to breathe our hands underneath our buttocks and walk our shoulder blades to our spinal cord. Coming into a deeper bridge. Noticing that your chest comes further from the earth and your gluteus maximus is higher in the earth. And this here is our nice deep bridge. Now we can hang out here in our bridge, or we can pulse it up and down in our bridge, meaning slightly coming down and then pulsing up to feel that gluteus maximus burn. Whatever you choose, we're going to do this bridge pose for 8 breaths. Six breaths. Four breaths. Two breaths. We're going to pulse down and we're going to squeeze it up nice and tight. Squeeze, squeeze for that final breath. Feeling that burn, squeeze it. Gluteus maximus lifting and rounding. We're going to do bonus here. A couple more breaths. Feeling that burn, squeeze, squeeze. 4 breaths. 3, 2, 1. Find interlacing those fingers, allowing that buttocks to flow to the earth, breathing those knees into the chest, hugging them in, allowing the body to soothe. Breathe in, exhale. To counter this pose, we're going to cross this right foot over that left knee. And we're going to breathe those legs to the torso. We're in our reverse pigeon. Noticing how this really stretches out that right gluteus maximus that we just worked. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Exhale, hug your knees to chest. As we cross this left foot over that right thigh, breathing it closer to the body. Reverse pigeon, opposite side. Noticing how this stretches and relaxes that left gluteus maximus. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Exhaling back to center. Let's uncross that leg. Feet are flat on the earth. Knees are in the air. Just for a second, how do we feel? Do we feel okay? If we do, let's take a nice, deep, intentional breath in. Exhale. As we flow our legs up, we're going to come into a happy baby. Feet come up to the air, to the earth, to the heavens. We're going to breathe our hands between our thighs if that feels good, connecting our hands to our feet. Happy baby. This here is also a hip opener. It also relaxes and soothes that lumbar spine, lower back. Now, in this pose, we can option to rock that body from side to side if that feels good. Using the earth to relax that spinal cord, or we can simply stay still in this happy baby. Eyes are closed. Deep breath. Exhale. Four moments of silence. Three. Slowly exhaling out, placing the feet flat on the earth. We're going to roll our bodies into a fetal pose, just rolling onto our side just for a second, using our hands, our arms to relax and soothe that neck. Eyes are gazed down to closed. Taking a moment to notice how we feel within. Checking in with mind, checking in with body. Being mindful of how we feel in our present moment without judgment. Simply being aware. Always remembering to be kind and loving to oneself. 2 more breaths. We're going to awaken our bodies using that top hand to push our bodies up. Let's come into a tabletop. Coming onto our hands and our knees. We're going to drop down to cow. Tummy comes down to the earth. Chin is up. Noticing how this cow pose feels in that lumbar spine. Exhale into cat. Come into cow. Flow into cat. Coming back to that tabletop position as we push our bodies up to our down dog, gazing at the feet. Maybe walk our dog by pedaling our feet left and right. As we flow into a 3-legged dog, lifting that right leg up in the air, gazing back at that foot, feeling that stretch. Exhale, back down dog. Extending that opposite leg up in the air, three-legged, opposite side, gazing at the foot. Exhale, back down dog. We're going to pedal our dog by walking our feet. We're going to walk our dog by pedaling our feet. Tummies are nice and tight. Now let's find that pause. Let's shift that weight forward, high plank. Working the shoulders, the back blades here. 2 more breaths. Exhale, back down dog. Let's walk our feet to our hands. Complete forward fold. Head melts downward towards the earth. This is a full body stretch. Allowing those shoulders to melt down towards the earth. Feeling that spine elongate, feeling that spine stretch. Eyes are closed. If that feels good, breathe in. Exhale. Flowing up to a half forward fold, slightly straightening that back, gaze forward. Exhaling up to a Tadasana mountain pose. Palms are at our sides, feet are, let's spread our feet apart nice and wide. So we're not in the Tadasana, we are in a nice wide-legged stance. Feet are pointing outward towards the edges of the yoga mat. Palms are at our side, heart chakras lifted, chin is up, breathe in. Exhale. As we flow our hands into a cactus hands, bending those elbows, cactus hands. As we bend our knees, goddess stance. We got to work the lower parts of our bodies. Let's rock that body from side to side. Let's pulse that body up and down. We're going to work our quads, our gluteus maximus, our calves. Feeling the burn. We're going to hold this goddess stance, rocking and swaying. We can also stay still, whatever feels best for you. 4 more breaths. 3, 2, 1. Hold the pose. Stand up, standing star, straightening those legs out. Arms come out to the side. Heart chakras lifted, chin is up, breathe in. Exhale. We're going to hold this star. We're going to hold this star with our eyes gazed down or closed. Feeling strong, feeling powerful. As we are the star that brightens the darkest night. We are the star that leads the way. We are our bright light when needed. The power we need, the light we seek, may it come from within, outside sources or just bonuses. 2 more breaths. Exhaling back down to that God stance, for we are the goddess and goddesses in our lives, the gods and the goddesses in our lives. We are building strength here, working the lower parts of our bodies as we are building strength in our life. As we are strong, as we are powerful. And our goddess, God stance. We can stay still here in this stance. We can pulse up and down or rock side to side. 5 breaths. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Hold it. Straighten those legs, wide-legged, complete forward fold. Breathing our hands to our ankles, allowing that head to drop downward towards the earth. Wide-legged forward fold, feeling that spine lengthen and stretch. Eyes are gazed down or closed. Breathe in. Exhale. May we option to rock or sway that body from side to side. Noticing how when we rock and sway that body from side to side, we'll feel that pull, that stretch a little more behind our legs and our hamstrings. Going as fast or as slow as you choose in your rock, if you're rocking. We are using this pose to allow the body to relax and soothe. Feeling our heartbeat regulate. Feeling our bodies and souls connect. As we walk our hands forward, breathing our legs together, down dog. Exhale into up dog. Thighs come closer to the earth, but we're not on the earth. Up dog. We went from a down dog to an up dog. Thighs are off the earth. This is working our arms, our back blades. Noticing how this feels in your lumbar spine. Now let's exhale down to our thighs. Now we're in that cobra. Thighs are connected to the earth. Noticing how this cobra feels a little differently in the body from an up dog. As we come on down to a Spanx pose, we're on our forearms. Our tummies are on the earth. We're on our forearms Spanx pose. Maybe breathe our palms together, allowing our palms to relax on the earth. Our shoulders are not shrugged. They are away from the ears. We have control of our body. Heart chakra's lifted, chin is up. Eyes are slightly gazed down and closed. Breathe in deeply. Exhale. As we use this time to thank ourselves for allowing ourselves to practice self-care and teaching training here today. For in a busy, busy world, it is a beautiful thing when we find time for self. And I would like to thank you all for allowing me to practice self-care and teaching training with you here today, for it truly, truly is a blessing. The light in me sees, appreciates, and respects the light in you all. Namaste.